It's dangerous to go alone. So come with us as we embark on this epic adventure through the legendary history of The Legend of Zelda. From its pixelated beginnings in 1986 to the sprawling open worlds of today, Zelda has remained one of the most iconic franchises in video game history. But how did a simple 8-bit game about a boy in green saving a princess become a multi-billion-dollar franchise spanning over 4 decades? Well, today we'll find this out and a whole lot more. This is Geek Culture 101, and this is the complete history of The Legend of Zelda. At the heart of this epic saga lies the brilliant mind of Shigeru Miyamoto, who, growing up in Shinobi, Japan, found inspiration in the surrounding forests, caves, and fields. These childhood explorations would later fuel his vision for Hyrule, a world brimming with secrets and adventure. Miyamoto's philosophy centered on creating games that were not just about winning, but about discovery and wonder. In the mid-1980s, Nintendo was riding high off the success of the Famicom/Nintendo Entertainment System, thanks to Super Mario Bros. And its growing stable of franchises. But one man, you guessed it, Shigeru Miyamoto, had a different vision for a game. Something that wasn't just about running left to right, but exploring a vast world filled with secrets and adventure. Now, Miyamoto got this inspiration, as we said, from his childhood and his home near Kyoto, so he wanted to create a game that invoked the same sense of discovery. Thus, The Legend of Zelda was born. Chapter 1: The Birth of a Legend. The Legend of Zelda, released in 1986 in Japan for the Famicom Disk System, and later in 1987 for the NES worldwide. The Legend of Zelda introduced players to Hyrule, an open-ended world filled with dangerous enemies, secret caves, and dungeons full of puzzles. Unlike most games of its time, Zelda was non-linear, allowing players to complete its dungeons in almost any order they choose. Revolutionary, too, was its internal battery save feature, which let the players resume their adventures later, a feature previously seen only in PC RPGs. The iconic overworld theme, composed by Koji Kondo, became an instant classic, setting the tone for the entire series. And then, of course, let's not forget that amazing golden cartridge, which itself became a symbol of the game's special status, cementing its legendary aura. Its open-ended design, emphasis on puzzle solving, and captivating lore set a new standard for action-adventure games. Its impact and legacy? Oh man, it sold 6.5 million copies, making it one of the best-selling games of its era. Established the action-adventure genre and inspired countless games. Ganon, Zelda, and the Triforce became an instant iconic symbol of gaming. Nintendo knew they had a hit, but the sequel, well, that's another story. Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. Never one to simply copy and paste their success, Nintendo radically changed the formula for Zelda 2. Instead of a top-down action-adventure, they crafted a side-scrolling RPG hybrid with experience points, platforming, and brutally hard difficulty. This shift in gameplay received mixed reactions, but it expanded the Zelda universe with new mechanics and lore. The game's challenging difficulty and unique magic system made it a cult classic among fans. While the opinions were divided, the game still sold 4.4 million copies, proving it wasn't a total failure. Chapter 2: The Golden Age of Zelda. After Zelda 2, Nintendo returned to a top-down perspective to create what many, like myself, consider the definitive 2D Zelda experience. A Link to the Past introduced the Master Sword, the light and dark world mechanic, and a more structured cinematic story, all of which became core elements of the franchise. The Dark World, a parallel dimension corrupted by Ganon, was a revolutionary mechanic. And refined combat, intricate dungeons, and an emotional storyline set a new benchmark for action-adventure games. It sold 4.6 million copies, received universal acclaim, and remains one of the best NES games of all time. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Have you ever wondered what Zelda would be like in a fever dream? Well, that's Link's Awakening. Originally developed as an experiment by Nintendo's handheld team, it evolved into a full-fledged title. The first Zelda game set outside of Hyrule. With the absence of Princess Zelda and the Triforce, the game offered a more introspective and melancholic story, featuring bizarre elements like unusual enemies and even a giant egg on a mountain. It became one of the strangest yet most successful Zelda adventures, paving the way for future handheld titles. Its unique items such as Rock's Feather and the Pegasus Boots added fresh layers to gameplay. Link: The Faces of Evil and Zelda: The Wand of Gamillion for the CDI, and of course Zelda's Adventures for the CDI. During the early 90s, there were some very different Zelda games produced for the Philips CDI system. These being, as I said, Link: The Faces of Evil, Zelda: The Wonder of Gamillion, and The Adventures of Zelda, released in 1996. While these games do bear the Zelda name, they were not produced by Nintendo, and are not considered canon by most of the larger Zelda community. And then, oh man, BS: The Legend of Zelda. Yes, that was the title. In 1995, during this period, Nintendo released BS: The Legend of Zelda, a Japan exclusive broadcast game for the Satellaview system. This title offered remix versions of the original game with innovative time-based elements, showcasing Nintendo's experimental spirit during that 16-bit era. Chapter 2.5: Zelda's 1980s Pop Culture Explosion. While the games themselves were making waves, Zelda's influence extended far beyond the console. The late 80s saw a full-blown Zelda pop culture phenomenon, a testament to the game's immediate and widespread appeal. It wasn't just a game, it was a cultural touchstone. First up, we had the Legend of Zelda animated series in 1989. As part of the Super Mario Bros. Show, the Legend of Zelda animated series brought Link and Zelda to Saturday morning television. While only lasting for 13 episodes, it left an indelible mark on fans. The series' catchphrase, "Well, excuse me, princess," became a meme before memes were even a thing. Though often cheesy and exaggerated, the cartoon captured the spirit of the games and introduced Zelda to a whole new generation. It was a perfect snapshot of 80s animation. And of course, we had the Zelda cereal in 1989. Yes, you heard me. Zelda had its own breakfast cereal. Nintendo partnered with Milestone to create the Legend of Zelda breakfast cereal, a sugary delight that featured berry-flavored pieces shaped like Link, hearts, shields, and treasure chests. The boxes were adorned with vibrant artwork and included a mail-away offer for Zelda merchandise. It was sugary, it was crunchy, it was a slice of 80s nostalgia. And of course, we had Nintendo Power Magazine. Nintendo Power Magazine played a crucial role in promoting The Legend of Zelda. The magazine provided details, maps, walkthroughs, and tips, helping players navigate the vast world of Hyrule. It also featured exclusive interviews with Shigeru Miyamoto and other developers, giving fans a behind-the-scenes look at the creation of games. Nintendo Power was the Bible for many young gamers, and Zelda was a frequent feature. And then we had Zelda merchandise and toys. The popularity of Legend of Zelda led to a surge in merchandise, including action figure board games and even clothing. Toy companies like Toy Biz released figures of Link, Zelda, and Ganon, allowing kids to recreate their favorite adventures in the real world. Board games brought strategic elements of the games to tabletops, while clothing allowed fans to wear their love for Zelda on their sleeves. All of these items were highly sought after by fans and are now valuable collectibles. The cultural impact in the 1980s. Zelda became a cultural phenomenon, and it was more than just a video game. Its music, characters, and themes promoted popular culture, influencing everything from music to fashion. Zelda was a symbol of adventure, mystery, and heroism, resonating with kids and adults alike. It showed that video games could be more than just mindless entertainment. They could be immersive experiences that sparked imagination. Chapter 3: The 3D Revolution. Now we get to the big one. If Super Mario 64 set the standard for 3D platforming, it was The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time that set the benchmark for 3D adventure games. With features like Z-targeting for intuitive combat, time travel mechanics that let players swap between child and adult Link, and the expansive Hyrule field, a precursor to modern open worlds, this title became the highest rated game of all time and sold 7.6 million copies. It revolutionized 3D adventure games, and its impact is still felt today. Next up, we had The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, a darker, more experimental entry. Majora's Mask delved into the themes of time, loss, and the fragility of existence. Its 3-day time loop mechanic created urgency and tension, pushing players to manage time effectively. Transforming masks allowed Link to assume various forms and abilities, each with unique gameplay mechanics. This title showcased the creative range of the Zelda series. The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. These interconnected titles released simultaneously, offered unique experience based on manipulating time and seasons. By linking the games together, players can unlock additional content and even a true ending. This innovative approach to storytelling and gameplay added depth to the handheld Zelda experience. Chapter 4: The Zelda Renaissance. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker initially met with skepticism for its cel-shaded graphics. The Wind Waker won fans over with its charming art style, expansive ocean exploration, and heartwarming story. Its sailing mechanic, though daunting at first, became a beloved feature. The game's vibrant world and unique art style made it a standout title in the series. The Legend of Zelda: Four Swords Adventures in 2004 for the GameCube. A multiplayer focused title, Four Swords Adventures allowed up to 4 players to team up and tackle dungeons together, utilizing connectivity between the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance. This cooperative gameplay brought a new dynamic to the Zelda formula. And then, of course, we had Tingle Rosie's Rupee Land for the Nintendo DS. During this era, Nintendo also explored more experimental spin-offs. So they released the 2006 Tingle Rosie Ripperland. Yeah, you try saying that correct. Which was for the DS, as I said, a quirky spin-off starring Tingle, who we met in the Wind Waker, where players collect rupees and interact with the eccentric cast of characters. The unique title embraced the bizarre side of the Zelda universe. But then we had in 2006 The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess for the GameCube and the Wii. Returning to a darker, more mature tone, Twilight Princess introduced a parallel dimension known as the Twilight Realm, where Link transforms into a wolf. With its epic storyline, challenging dungeons, and cinematic presentations, it became a fan favorite, selling 8.7 million copies and introducing Wolf Link. The game's scale and scope were impressive, offering a vast and immersive experience. Which leads us to crossbow training. In 2006, Nintendo released Link's Crossbow Training for the Wii. This spin-off for the Wii Zapper, oh man, it presented a series of shooting challenges set in the world of Twilight Princess, showcasing the Wii's motion controls in a fun and engaging way. Then we had The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass in 2007 for the Nintendo DS, a direct sequel to The Wind Waker. Phantom Hourglass continued the sailing adventures on the Nintendo DS, making clever use of the touchscreens, controls, and puzzles. Oh man. Many of us didn't even want to give this title a chance because of the touchscreen mechanic. This title proved that the Zelda formula could thrive on handheld platforms. Freshly picked Tingle Balloon Trip of Love, yes, that's a game title. In 2009, Nintendo released freshly picked Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love for the Nintendo DS. This, another Tingle spinoff, but this time a dating simulator, but it never left Japan. It was celebrated for its strange and unique style. This title remains a fascinating and obscure piece of Zelda history. The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks for the Nintendo DS. Another entry in the DS family. Spirit Tracks introduced train travel as a central mode of transportation, with puzzle and combat uniquely designed around the train's movements. This innovative approach kept the handheld Zelda experience fresh and engaging. And then we had The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword in 2011 for the Wii. Skyward Sword explored the origins of the Zelda universe, revealing the creation of the Master Sword and the first incarnations of Link and Zelda. Despite decisive motion controls, its precision swordplay and puzzle solving earned it acclaim. The game's focus on story and character development added depth to the Zelda lore. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. A spiritual successor to A Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds introduced a well-merging mechanic that allowed Link to traverse 2D surfaces. Its open-ended dungeon design and interconnected world offered a fresh take on the classic formula. This title demonstrated that 2D Zelda games could still be innovative and exciting. Then we had Hyrule Warriors in 2014. So Nintendo expanded the universe with Hyrule Warriors, a hack and slash take on Zelda that brought epic battles and a large roster of characters to the Masu genre. This crossover title was fun and action-packed in addition to the universe set by previous Zelda games. Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes for the 3DS. This multiplayer-focused title let 3 players team up to tackle dungeons with an emphasis on puzzle solving and quirky fashion elements. This cooperative gameplay experience was a fun and lighthearted addition to the Zelda series. Chapter 5: Zelda in the Modern Era. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Then, Zelda changed everything once again. With a massive open world, breakable weapons, and physics-based puzzles, it gave complete freedom. Breath of the Wild reinvented the franchise, selling over 30 million, yes, you heard me right, 30 million copies. It became the best-selling Zelda game ever. Its sheer freedom, breathtaking landscapes, and emergent gameplay created a global phenomenon. Breath of the Wild was a true masterpiece, redefining open-world games and setting a new standard for the industry. Candace of Hyrule in 2019. Now, when Nintendo released Candace of Hyrule, a rhythm-based action-adventure that blended the Zelda world with the gameplay of a Crypt of the Necrodancer, I should say. Sorry about that. This creative collaboration brought a fresh perspective to the Zelda series. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. In 2020, Nintendo released Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. Serving as a prequel to Breath of the Wild, this title focused on the events leading up to the Great Calamity, featuring familiar characters and locations, provided valuable backstory to the world of the Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, one of the best Zelda games of all time. Taking Breath of the Wild as a foundation, Nintendo went even bigger with Tears of the Kingdom, introducing Sky Islands, vehicle crafting, and fusion mechanics. The game expanded the open world with floating islands and underground depths. Its intricate puzzles, epic storyline, and vast exploration areas captured players worldwide, sparking hype even greater than before. Tears of the Kingdom built upon the success of its predecessors, but it was pushing the boundaries of creativity and gameplay. The future of The Legend of Zelda. So what does the future hold for Zelda? Well, it has defined adventure games for nearly 40 years, from 8-bit dungeons to massive open worlds. It continues to evolve and inspire generations of gamers. And with the future wide open, who really knows where Zelda's next adventure will go? The possibilities are truly endless, and the excitement for what's to come is truly palpable. Will we see a return to the classic 2D gameplay, or will Nintendo stick with the 3D boundary-pushing games that we've come to love? One thing is certain: The Legend of Zelda will continue to captivate and inspire for years to come. This has been Geek Culture 101. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite Zelda memories in the comments. And until next time, stay geeky, my friends. Stay geeky.